well, you know, it runs. Not running great now. It was running great, but I'm thinking since it was running so good and then it stopped running, it started running crappy, I think it just pulled some stuff into the fuel system. So next thing we're gonna do, we gotta address a couple of small issues like the foot pegs, a kickstand, and maybe another couple things that would require fabrication and welding. And then we're going to blow this whole thing apart and we're going to paint it. And when we do that, we'll get the carburetor off. We'll clean that out completely. We'll put an air filter in the air box and this thing will be ready to go. But yeah, it's a fun little bike. It's pretty tiny and it goes pretty dang fast for what it is. So I bet it does at least 30. I bet it's about 30. Maybe more, maybe 35. But yeah, that's coming up next. All right, so the next project that we need to accomplish before we can tear this thing down and do the paint and all that stuff is it needs a kickstand. And so far we haven't had to buy anything. This is all stuff I had laying around. One of the spacers was new. I had it laying around though, and then the axle adjusters are also new, but I had them laying around. So far we haven't had to go anywhere or order anything for this. So hopefully we can keep that going. I got these two kickstands that I robbed from, I don't know, Scooter or something. They both have little extra things to grab and kick them out. This one I think is too long, but we might need to rob the spring from it. This one doesn't have a spring or anything, but I think it's about the right length, but it needs to be, I think it needs to be trimmed. I think it needs to be adjusted. So let's put it in the hole where we got our kickstand. We already have the kickstand mount here. Okay. Okay. And it actually leans over kind of nicely, a little bit too far, but if you can see, this kickstand kicks up a little bit, and what we can just do is we'll cut that off, and then we'll bring it back down level with the frame here, and then we'll weld it back in, and I think it'll sit somewhere like that, and then we'll work on this little foot pad and try to get that completely flat on the ground when it's leaning over, and then we'll have ourselves a slick little kickstand. And then we also need to put a spring in here so this actually works. There's no stud or anywhere to hook a spring, so we'll have to figure that out, but we got a spring on this one, so we'll probably steal that. Or maybe I got one over in my box, but I doubt it. But we'll see. We'll figure something out for that, but we'll get this kickstand going. Yeah, it's just a little bit too far, so. And then let's look at the foot pegs, because we're going to do both of these things. See what it looks like. Alright, pretty simple. It's got a spring in there. The bolt goes through, and it just provides a little bit of tension down. We're going to extend these. And I think I'm just going to I might just cut this old tube out of here altogether and then re-drill the hole once we get it in there. But we need to extend them about 3 inches, I think. The real issue is on this side of the bike. You can see right there that the foot peg, well, not only are they kind of at a wrong angle, but it basically is totally under the engine. So you can't really get your foot on this very well at all. So let's see. Tape measure. Where's my measuring tape? I don't know. I got a ruler though. Let's use this ruler. So the peg is about 3 inches long. So if we were to extend that 3 inches, that would be completely, right, 3 inches. Because right now it's at the edge. So if we extend it 3 inches, then we got the entire peg outside of the engine, and that will make it much better for what we're doing here. Let's see. No, I think that'll be perfect. 3 inches. So we're going to extend the pegs 3 inches. We're going to work on this kickstand. We'll get that functioning. And then we'll see what's next after all of that. Alright, there we are. We got foot pegs we can actually reach. So this thing is actually going to be rideable. And yeah, I think the last thing we got to do, so we got a kickstand, we got foot pegs. The last thing I have to do that requires welding and fabrication and stuff is I have to do something with these fenders. These holes are driving me crazy, especially this one back here. It's got these two really big holes in it. So I got to do something to patch all this up, make these look nice. But other than that, the fab part is 100% done on this thing, and we got to blow it apart and get it ready for paint. Alright, I wanted to check in with you guys and let you know how it's coming with the painting and stuff, and we're about to actually start spraying the color that we picked out, or my wife picked out anyways. So we got our black stuff. We're doing the fenders black. That's the clutch cover, handlebars, kickstand, foot pegs. That's all the black stuff. Oh, and then we got our high heat paint, which is VHT header paint on the exhaust shield and the valve cover. And that's this stuff right here. So that's our high heat header paint. There's our satin black on the black stuff. And then this is the color that my wife picked out that I really like. It's called Lagoon. It doesn't seem to be coming through on the camera, the color that it is. It looks more blue from what I see in the camera, but it's kind of a teal. And it's a satin as well. So that's what we're about to spray on here. We're going to get the frame and the forks in this Lagoon, satin Lagoon color. And then after that, we should be on to assembly. You guys can see my garage is getting stacked with stuff, projects. Had a wheel bearing failure, so I got to replace the wheel bearings in that and clean that thing up and get it back going. I got this lawnmower here that I've had forever. It needs a drive belt. You know, projects on top of projects on top of projects. So, Lagoon coming up. Alright, so paint is done. Once again, this is Lagoon. It looks much more green in person. From what I'm seeing through the screen, it looks kind of like this blue, like a lighter blue. But it's almost like a teal, but more green than teal. So, but anyways, it turned out great. I really like the color. The only thing that we actually painted that color was the fork and the frame. And now it's time to put this thing back together. And I'm going to need a hammer to get that through there. Alright, so there we go. That's the start of it. I got to put this thing back together the rest of the way, and be riding this sucker pretty soon. So I got a little tech tip for you. So I don't know what's up with this, but when you put it on the bike, it doesn't really clamp down enough to grab a hold of the bar. So my solution to that is going to be to add this dime that I had in my pocket. So I'm going to take this dime and I'm going to put it in here basically to take up the space. But first I'm going to give it a little contour by just whacking it on my vise here. Alright, so now we got a concave, convex, depending on how you're looking at it. It's close enough, I think. I think we can make this fit in here. So now we got some space. Oh, still a good stretch. Alright. Take up some slack here. All we got left is the throttle side, so I'm going to flip it around. And get this hooked up, and then we'll be in business. Alright, so this little guy is also done, and we're going to take it for a quick cruise. It's so weird how the color through the camera is like a blue, but it's really much more green than that. So let's take this guy for our little cruise. That lever, flip it down.
Pull it out.
Boom.
Honda.
Right?
So
Isn't it cute? There's no off switch really. That's it. That's the off switch. So it's like.
That thing is fun as shit.
Isn't it?
It's just
This is the cutest little thing. All right, this thing is totally done. We've ridden it. It's a blast. It actually handles really well for such a small bike for sure. And then final touch, the sticker. All right, we're done with this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Please smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, smash the bell if you want to get notified of new videos coming out. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.